Juan Soto likes to make a headline or two. He talked with Anthony DiComo about Shohei Ohtani and Soto about his own chances of dethroning Ohtani to win NL MVP. As we all know, Ohtani has won that award many times. Soto said, quote, "I'm going to be there every year too, so he better keep doing what he's doing because I'm coming. He's really good. He's really good. I've just got to beat him. Definitely it's not going to be easy, but I've got to find a way to beat him." Then he went on to discuss some of what he's looking to improve this season to kind of get over that hump. He says, "I feel like everybody tries to do better than what they did before. I would definitely love to be better around the bases and better in the outfield. Even hitting, I try to keep my hitting increased." And then he thanked God and a few things and said he just keeps trying to get better each and every year. Juan Soto is still, I believe, 26 years old, possibly 27 at this point. Very young, as we've talked about many a time. So young to even be in the discussions that he's in, you know? But yeah, I thought it was interesting. Of course, it was probably prompted by a DiComo question about Ohtani and about that elusive NL MVP. But I think it's interesting that those comparisons are already popping up. And I think when you do look at the rest of the National League and who could possibly challenge Ohtani for that award one day, even though nobody is in the same stratosphere as him because nobody else is a two-way player that excels at both. All that aside, Juan Soto is front of the list for a guy who could eventually dethrone him there.
I agree. And I'm actually glad that you brought up the thing about DiComo asking that question. Because let's be clear, I don't think Juan Soto just went out there and randomly went up to Anthony DiComo and was like, "Hey, this is what I want to talk about today." I think DiComo thought this would be an interesting thing to write a story about. Let me ask him and pick his brain. And then that's what Juan Soto said.
And it was interesting.
And it totally was interesting. So great call by DiComo. That being said, listen, it's hard because he talks about the things he wants to improve, but no matter what he's improving, he's not a pitcher.
Right.
And that is going to be the hard part, is figuring out ways to compete with somebody who's doing something in baseball that's not being done, that's going to be the challenge. But in a way, listen, I kind of like the idea of games within games, and I think for Juan Soto, that NL MVP, why not have that be something in the back of your mind that you're chasing, even if it is, of course, a team sport and what he'd want for the most is for the Mets to win. If he's performing well and he's able to somehow win NL MVP, or at least he has that mindset where he's thinking about it, that means he's playing better for the Mets. It all leads to the same road.
Yeah, I think Ohtani's such a freak, obviously, because he's won that award. I mean, the pitching goes without saying, right? Nobody else does that. Sick. But he won it even 2 years ago when he wasn't pitching. Right. I mean, even just his offensive stats are so out of this world and out of this planet. Here's where I think Soto actually showed I guess you would say improvement last year. Soto really on the base paths last year, I feel like unlocked something, right? That's a big part of Ohtani's game is stealing bases to go along with that power, to go along with hitting to contact, to go along with just all of it that he does so well. Soto, I think, turned a corner with that last year specifically. And I think if he continues to add that to his game, and it's like you're looking at, a 30-30 season, a 40-30 season sometimes, that is exceptional. And I think keeps him in that conversation because that really sticks out to have a guy who has such raw power like Soto, like Ohtani, but then can also have that athleticism to steal that many bases, to create runs like that. You know what I mean? I think that's really, really valuable. So I think... Listen, we've given more than enough credit to Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, and we all know that we are witnessing something that we will never see again in our lifetime. He could win the award for the next 8 years, and it would probably be deserved unless he has a really down year. But I think that if you're a Mets fan, you have to at least look at having A, Juan Soto, B, Francisco Lindor on your team who are top 10 in NL MVP voting every year. Top 10's not good enough. You want to have the MVP, of course. But to just have two guys that are even in that conversation is a lot more than a lot of other teams in the National League.
100%. That's something that I think that all Mets fans should feel good about. And when it comes to the MVP, the bottom line is, I think if Soto is going to dethrone Ohtani, what it would come down to probably more than anything is consistency.
Yeah.
How many games is he hitting well in, right? What are the numbers he's able to put up? Because if they're not as astronomical as Ohtani's, which you kind of feel like it's going to be hard to beat, then I think that maybe that's where consistency plays a role. And you're seeing how frequently consistently he's able to put up some numbers like that and what else he's able to do. We'll see what happens. I mean, listen, I think both of us would probably sit here and tell you that we think Ohtani is the best baseball player that's playing right now, maybe the best baseball player ever, but it doesn't mean that he can't be dethroned in a season, you know?
And you know what? I think it's interesting too. We'll see how Soto adjusts to a new lineup this year because the guys around him are very different. Ohtani obviously has that Dodgers lineup is staying relatively the same in comparison to the last couple years.